Good morning, my beautiful friends. Today I'm here to talk about something pretty personal, but it's also really important. As breast cancer survivors, we form a unique bond with each other, right? I always say it's the club you never want to be part of, but it's an unbreakable sisterhood and one that you could never imagine, right? You may have felt often in your life that you didn't fit in, and now suddenly fit in a place that you never wanted to. But what happens when we lose one of our own? As we lost Shannon Doherty this week, it can feel like we're losing part of ourselves. I'm always going to remember Shannon as Brenda from 90210. It was definitely one of my favorite shows when it originally aired in about 1990, around the time when my daughter was born. So today what I want to do is to share 3 ways to cope with the loss of another breast cancer survivor. And my hope that this will bring some comfort into your hearts, okay? Because I know that it can be difficult. Now, people ask me why it's so hard. And there's a term that it's important to know and to understand, and that is collective trauma. Because collective trauma refers to the psychological impact shared by a group of people who've had and experienced a similar traumatic event, or they've been through something very similar. And we are seeing this and feeling the effects of collective trauma in our daily lives right now, right? You may feel that there's this energy in the world of uncertainty, volatility, unease, and it's affecting all of us. And then on top of that, when we lose a pink sister, we are being re-traumatized, right? And so often when we can, as a breast cancer survivor, or if you've even just been diagnosed with breast cancer, suddenly there's something in common with you and a massive group of people. And if we think the statistic right now is that 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. So there's suddenly this sisterhood, this club that you are part of, and when something happens to somebody in that club, you feel it. You feel it, and you can often feel it as if Shannon were a close friend, somebody you knew intimately, even though you may not have. You may feel it that closely, that deeply, and that impactfully. Now, for us as breast cancer survivors, right, we share this collective journey filled with ups and downs. And just as I said, when we lose someone from this journey, it impacts all of us. And this shared trauma can actually amplify our feelings of grief, loss, and it can make it really challenging to cope. Okay? Now, what might you be experiencing if you are feeling this collective trauma? Well, fatigue, right? You might feel unusually more tired or lethargic than usual. I know it's one of our norms. You might have difficulty sleeping, or maybe you're experiencing nightmares. That can often happen too. You might notice changes in your appetite, either eating more or less than usual. One of the most common ones is increased tension, pain, especially around your neck and shoulders, right? And your mind are super tight right now. And you may experience things like headaches or migraines. Okay, so just be mindful of this. Acknowledge and feel your feelings. So let's talk about 3 ways to help you cope and navigate this loss, this trauma, this feeling. Now, something that is rarely talked about is that, and this is another layer to this puzzle, is that 82.5% of breast cancer survivors are dealing with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And so very often, again, it adds to this layer of collective trauma. if you are one of those, as I am, who suffered from PTSD after your breast cancer diagnosis, then these feelings might be heightened. Okay, so start by just having this awareness. And that's our first way to cope here, is to acknowledge and feel your feelings, right? Unfortunately, there's a saying that we need to feel it to heal it. I want you to know, and I'm giving you full permission here, that it's okay to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. Whether it's sad, angry, confused, you might even be feeling numb. These feelings are a natural part of the grieving process, right? And when there's a loss, we're grieving. When there's a loss, we're grieving. And so it's normal or common to feel this. I remember feeling really overwhelmed when I lost a dear friend to breast cancer. I gave myself grace and space, allowing myself to cry, express my emotions, and it really helped me begin the healing process, right? Now, one of the big things for me when I know that I'm being traumatized is we all have automatic trauma responses. This is something we talk about a lot inside my group coaching, inside Thrivership School. My major, typically first automatic trauma response is flight. You've heard of fight, flight. There's also freeze and fawn. Now, for me, what flight looks like, and this is how I know that I'm being triggered by something, is there is an internal longing to go into the bedroom, to isolate myself, to flee, right? That's part of the flight response. To go into the bedroom, to pull up my snuggly blanket, have a cup of tea, watch Friends on TV, something that is comfortable and cozy and familiar. I want to shut the door and I want to hide. I don't want to talk to anybody. That's how I know that I'm going into that I've been triggered somewhere. Now, your response might be different. And again, like I said, this is something we talk about a lot in Thrivership School because it's recognizing what we normally do. Awareness is always the first part of shifting anything, right? And changing anything. And it's the same when it comes to healing. So we're going to feel our feelings. We're going to recognize what's coming up for us without judging. Really, really, really important. I'm going to recognize when I want to go into the bedroom and shut the door without judging myself. I smile because now I'm like, there we go. I'm being judged. There's a lot of self-compassion, a lot of love, a lot of caring. Not judging, not telling myself that I'm wrong or bad or trying to hide what I'm feeling, although for many years, in fact decades, that was my go-to. Sweep it under the rug, suck it up, get on with it. But what we don't always realize is those sucked up feelings are still inside our body. And they're causing dis-ease within our body. And so it's really, really important to give yourself that grace and space without judgment to feel your feelings. Now, a few things that might help you get used to this is maybe writing down your thoughts and your feelings, right? That can be super, super powerful. Might be talking to someone if you've got a trusted friend or a counselor or a coach. Sometimes just talking about it can make a huge difference, right? And maybe creativity, right? Through art or music or any creative outlet that resonates with you. So number one is to feel your feelings. Number two is to practice self-care. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't mean manis and petties. I mean, even asking yourself, and I go to put my hand on my heart, right? What do you need? Taking your care of yourself is so crucial during times of grief or when you've been traumatized. So let's talk about 3 easy ways that you might do that. The first one is physical activity. Now, the old Karin, and I'm going back to over 12 years ago, would have gone to the gym and sweated it out. You might relate to that, right? That was how I used to deal with stress and anxiety and all of those feelings. But what I didn't realize at the time, and if that sounds like your way of coping, I'm going to invite you to just be open to hearing a different way. Because what I realized is I was actually numbing myself to my feelings. I was pushing them down. Yes, I was sweating it out. Yes, it was a healthier way of coping, but I wasn't actually feeling my feelings. It was stopping me. And so when I talk about physical activity, I'm actually talking about a more compassionate way of being. And if you're recovering from breast cancer, then it's going to more than likely fit where you are with your motivation, with your energy, with anxiety or anything else that's coming up for you right now. Gentle exercise, compassionate exercise, like walking or yoga or stretching. I love Qigong, Tai Chi. These modalities for me are very, very gentle. When I talk about yoga, look at things like restorative yoga or yin yoga, yoga nidra. These are all modalities of yoga that are really gentle and are about taking care of yourself in a gentle, easy way. Really, really important. Because we know that moving our body can help us feel better, right? It can help release tension. It can improve your mood. Going for a walk in nature can be magical. But take it easy. Take it easy. This is not about pushing. This is about compassion, gentleness, kindness, acknowledging how you might feel right now, and being kind to yourself. The second way that you might want to practice self-care is to nourish your body with wholesome foods, right? Think about fruits and vegetables, plenty of water, which I know is the opposite of often what your cravings are telling you want. Your cravings might be saying, I want chocolate, I want cake, I want cookies, I want ice cream, maybe potato chips. So those are not, in the long term, going to help you feel better, right? And so think about what can you do to nourish and take care of your body. That's what we're trying to do. And the third thing for self-care is rest and relaxation. And I really want you to understand that rest is not a reward. We don't have to earn it. Rest is your right. You have the right to rest. If your body is feeling heavy, right? Your heart is feeling heavy because you're feeling the loss of a pink sister. Give yourself the rest and relaxation that your body's asking for. It's saying, hey, I just want to chill right now. Like maybe that means reading a book or listening to some calming music. Could be any of those things. I don't even want to use the term giving in, because you're not giving in. You're giving yourself what you need. That's not giving in. That's your God-given right. Okay? Now the third way to cope, so we've talked about feeling your feelings. We've talked about practicing self-care. And the third way to cope is by surrounding yourself with people who truly understand. Because you may be feeling all of these feelings right now. You may be expressing to somebody, maybe it's a significant other or a friend or a family member, how this is impacting you. And they're like, why? Get on with it. Don't be silly. Right? They might be saying things that are making you feel like your feelings are invalid. And they are not. They are not. I was talking to somebody the other day, a breast cancer survivor the other day, who was struggling with depression. And she said to me, it was the first time she and I had connected, and she said, Karin, I can't even tell you how valuable this has been for me to just be able to spew my words, which is what she said, I'm going to use her term, and not feel like I have to explain them or validate them. This is the benefit of having a support system that gets it. I cannot stress enough how important that is. Because what happens, and this is what I see in Thrivership School in my group coaching program, is that because people feel safe, I heard people say things like, wow, for the first time in my life, I'm actually speaking my truth. I'm being honest and not being fearful of it. And it's because of the safety and the understanding of the environment that we've created. What happens when we feel safe is that our body gets to relax, our nervous system relaxes, and we can actually start to heal and recover in a really deep, meaningful way. And that's what I see happening as people travel through Thrivership School. And their minds are blown. Many of them have been in therapy for years. Many of them have spoken to many other coaches and counseling. But it's being in a container. And it's not just about me, it's about the other women in the container. It's everybody together. It's the collective sisterhood, right? Where there is zero judgment and everybody gets it. When you explain how something like this hits you in your gut, everybody just gets it. Because very many of them are having a similar experience. And we're creating that sense of comfort, sense of belonging, and a sense of just feeling seen and understood that I know I certainly didn't feel for much of my life. But that's the container that is so special. So how do you connect, right? Maybe Thrivership School, you're not in a group like Thrivership School. Look for local support groups, right? Many hospitals and cancer centers offer them. There are online communities and forums where you can share and receive support from others. I host a Facebook group called the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community. And I checked in with everybody in our group. You might be watching this from our group, but I checked in. How are you all doing? Like, this might hit you. How are you doing? And there are also events and workshops, retreats, especially for breast cancer survivors. I even host some myself. Okay? The important thing is to connect with people that get it so that you are not traveling this road alone. Because you don't have to. And I know you may have always figured it out on your own in the past, but that doesn't mean that you always have to. Not when there are other options that are really going to help you feel so much more supported. So let's just recap. To cope with the loss of another breast cancer survivor, I encourage you to remember and acknowledge and feel your feelings. They're valid. They're valid. Whatever it is that you're feeling, it's valid. You are valid. Practice radical self-care. What do I need? What do I need? Do I need to rest? Do I need to go for a walk outside? Do I need to just cry? What do you need? And then, and probably most importantly, actually the bundle is important, right? All three together. But surrounding yourself with people who understand. That's the biggest gift that you could ever give to yourself. Okay? I want you to know that you are not alone on this journey, ever. Because together we can find hope, possibility, continued resilience to keep going. Okay, so if you are not yet in our Healthy Living After Breast Cancer community, I would really encourage you to pop on over and join us there. It is seriously one of the most amazing online communities where we support each other and we thrive together. It's not just about me, it's about the other amazing women in this community. And you're going to feel that love and that support from everybody in there. So thank you for watching. If we haven't yet met, I'm Karin Del Maestro. I'm your health coach and breast cancer survivor, and I specialize in helping other breast cancer survivors get their energy and life back, create habits that withstand fatigue, stress, this roller coaster of life and recovery, so that you can actually and enjoy the life that you fought for without it being defined by your diagnosis. Okay? We're in this together. Take care of yourselves and please reach out if you need support. Please. Okay? I will see you next Wednesday. Bye for now. Sending you all big hugs.